Alex had always thought college life would be normal. He expected late-night snacks, long study sessions, occasional parties, and the usual roommate problems. Loud music, messy rooms, or someone stealing your food. What he did not expect was an alien for a roommate. It started on the first day of the semester. Alex walked into the dorm lobby carrying a box of books, his laptop, and a nervous smile. The housing office clerk handed him a key card with a small warning. "Your roommate is a special program student," the clerk said, raising her eyebrows. "Just be yourself, and don't be alarmed," Alex frowned. "Special program?" The clerk hesitated. "She comes from another planet. It's part of the Human-Alien Integration Program." Alex blinked. He had read about this program in the news. Earth had recently started allowing selected aliens to study in human universities. The goal was peaceful coexistence and cultural exchange, but he never thought it would happen to him. He shook his head. "This has to be a joke," he muttered, walking toward his assigned room. When he reached the door, he hesitated. His heart pounded. Slowly, he swiped the key card and opened it. The room was neat and clean, exactly the way he liked it. But the figure sitting on the bed made him freeze. She was tall, taller than any human he had seen. Her skin glowed softly with shifting colors like light flowing through water. Her eyes were large, deep, and shimmering with silver specks, and she smiled at him. "Hello," she said in perfect English, though her voice had a melodic, otherworldly tone. Alex coughed. Hi, I'm Alex. You must be my roommate?" "I am Leora," she said, sitting up gracefully. "I am pleased to meet you." Alex tried to nod. "Yeah, pleased to meet you too." His brain was racing. She's really an alien. Leora stood and walked toward him. Every step she took seemed to glow faintly, leaving a shimmer in the air. She extended a hand, or what Alex thought was a hand. It was similar to a human hand, but slightly longer, with delicate fingers tipped with transparent nails. Alex shook it awkwardly. "So you've lived on Earth before?" "Only briefly. I arrived yesterday. Everything is fascinating." Leora's voice carried genuine excitement. "Your planet is full of interesting smells, colors, and human habits." Alex laughed nervously. "Well, you'll get used to it, mostly." He stepped inside the room carrying his boxes. Leora watched silently, tilting her head slightly. Every motion she made seemed intentional, almost like she was studying him as much as the room. "So, where do you sleep?" Alex asked, pointing to the two beds. Leora's glowing eyes scanned the room. "I will take the bed on the far side." "It seems logical," Alex nodded. "Sure, that's fine." The rest of the afternoon passed awkwardly. Alex unpacked his things, trying to act normal, while Leora observed him curiously. She picked up his comic books and examined them closely. "These are stories?" she asked. Alex nodded. "Yeah, they're entertainment. Humans like reading these to relax." Leora turned the book over in her hands, flipping through pages with care. "I see. Your species has a fascinating way of representing life and emotion." Alex blinked. Thanks?" Then came the first real test of patience. Leora opened his mini-fridge and inspected the contents. "You store fermented cow milk in sealed containers?" she asked, lifting a yogurt cup. Alex froze. Yeah. It's yogurt. Humans eat it for breakfast sometimes." Leora nodded thoughtfully. "Interesting. And the dark liquid in the bottle?" "Coffee," Alex said, trying not to sound defensive. "It helps humans wake up." She sniffed it carefully. "Curious aroma, I must try this later." Alex felt a mix of amusement and panic. Sure. Maybe." After a while, Alex thought he could finally relax. Maybe Leora wasn't so strange after all. She was polite, curious, and quiet most of the time. But then she asked the question he had dreaded. "Alex," she said, "why do humans perform what you call exercise?" Alex laughed nervously. We move our bodies to stay healthy, I guess. Running, lifting, jumping, that sort of thing." Leora tilted her head. "Fascinating. You intentionally tire your body for pleasure?" "Not exactly pleasure, it's health," Alex explained, scratching his head. Leora nodded slowly as if this made sense. "Humans are strange, yet admirable," Alex blinked. "Admirable? You adapt to your environment. You create tools. You survive. I respect that." Alex felt a flush of pride. "Okay, she's not judging me. She's actually impressed." By evening, the two of them were unpacked. Alex sat on his bed, exhausted but relieved. Leora stood by the window staring at the city lights. "Alex," she said softly, "I wish to understand your habits better. Your species seems so complex, so unpredictable." Alex smiled weakly. "Yeah, humans are kind of messy that way." She turned her head, her glowing eyes studying him. "I believe I will enjoy learning, if you allow me." Alex nodded. "Sure, I guess we can learn from each other." For the first time that day, Alex felt a flicker of hope. Maybe having an alien roommate wouldn't be so bad. Maybe it could even be interesting. Little did he know the real adventure had just begun, because living with an alien roommate meant surprises, strange habits, curious inspections, and moments that would make him laugh, cringe, and maybe even rethink what it meant to be human. As Alex lay down that night, listening to the hum of the city, he couldn't help but think, this semester is going to be unforgettable. And he was right. The next morning, Alex woke to a soft, glowing light filling the room. He squinted at Leora, who was hovering slightly above her bed. She didn't use the mattress the way humans did. Instead, she floated a few inches above it, her body surrounded by a faint, shimmering aura. "Good morning," she said, her voice melodic and calm. "You are awake." Alex rubbed his eyes and yawned. "Yeah, good morning. How did you sleep?" "I rested optimally," Leora replied. "Your bed appears suitable for humans, but I prefer my method." Alex just nodded. He wasn't about to argue with an alien about sleeping preferences. Humans were strange enough after all. Breakfast was the first challenge. Alex was used to cereal and toast, but Leora had brought her own small device. She placed it on the table and pressed a glowing panel. In seconds, a shimmering gelatin-like food appeared. "Breakfast," she said proudly. "Highly nutritious. Adapted for human taste receptors." Alex hesitated but picked up a spoon. He tasted it cautiously. It was surprisingly good. Sweet, smooth, with a hint of something unfamiliar but pleasant. "You like it?" Leora asked, tilting her head. Alex nodded. "Yeah, it's good." He realized he had just eaten alien food willingly. He looked at her with a mix of shock and curiosity. "Do you eat human food too?" "I have sampled several items," Leora said, her eyes sparkling. "Your chocolate is intriguing, so is this bread with spread?" Alex laughed. "Yeah, humans love sweets, maybe too much sometimes." After breakfast, Alex went to attend his first class. When he returned, Leora was exploring the room in a way that made him nervous. She was touching his books, examining his gadgets, and even tilting his chair to inspect its balance. "Alex," she said, pointing at his laptop, "this is a communication device? It projects images and symbols and allows humans to exchange ideas." "Yes, kind of," Alex said, trying to stay calm. "It's how we do homework, talk to friends, watch videos." Leora picked it up carefully. "Fascinating. Your species has developed highly compact technology. Incredible." Alex scratched his head. Thanks." Then came the first small disaster. Leora found his headphones. She lifted them and put them to her ears, her eyes widening as music began to play. "The sound is emotional," she said, almost whispering. "You feel this in your body?" Alex nodded. "Yeah, that's music. Humans use it to express feelings." Leora closed her eyes, swaying slightly to the rhythm. Alex couldn't help but laugh. The sight of a glowing alien moving to human music was surreal. "I must learn more," Leora said, opening her eyes. "Your species' expressions of emotion are powerful." Alex sat down on his bed, watching her curiously. You think humans are powerful?" "Yes," Leora said simply. "We adapt to our environment, we create tools, we laugh, we cry. Even your awkward habits have meaning. It is impressive." Alex felt a small blush. Wow, she actually respects humans. Then came the funniest part of the day. Chores. "Alex," Leora said, holding a small alien device, "I wish to assist in maintaining cleanliness." Alex hesitated. Sure. But just don't move my stuff without asking." "I will observe," Leora said. At first her help was chaotic. She tried to vacuum the floor with her own device, which emitted strange colors and mild sparks. A small pile of Alex's papers floated briefly into the air, as if the vacuum had a mind of its own. Alex panicked. No. That's important." "Don't." Leora paused. "You are distressed. My apologies." I am learning human methods, Alex sighed. It's okay, just careful, please. After a few attempts, Leora managed to clean the room effectively, though in her own unique way. Alex noticed the room looked tidier than it had in weeks, see? She said proudly. Your species' cleaning methods are interesting yet effective. I'm capable of learning them. Alex couldn't help but smile. He realized that living with Leora would be a combination of chaos, curiosity, and occasional genius. The cultural clashes continued in smaller ways throughout the day. Leora asked him why humans drank coffee when water existed, why they watched movies instead of just imagining stories, and why they used money instead of exchanging goods freely. Each time, Alex tried to explain, often using long, awkward description to. The next day, Alex returned from his classes feeling exhausted. It had been a long morning filled with lectures, assignments, and group discussions. He longed for a moment of peace, a quiet shower to wash away the stress, and perhaps a little private time to sing his favorite song without an audience. Finally, he muttered as he stepped into the bathroom, some peace and quiet. He turned on the water, letting it warm to the perfect temperature. The soothing sound of the shower filled the small bathroom, and Alex closed his eyes. As always, he began to sing softly, letting the music carry away the tension in his shoulders. Meanwhile, Leora, ever curious and ever observant, had been exploring the dorm floor. She had noticed the faint sounds of Alex's singing through the vent. Her glowing eyes flickered with intrigue. Human vocal expression, she whispered to herself. This is fascinating. I must investigate further. In her usual literal-minded way, Leora approached the bathroom door and opened it slightly. She didn't realize that for humans, the bathroom was a private space. She simply saw a source of interesting sound and wanted to study it up close. Alex, completely unaware of her approach, continued singing with growing passion. His voice echoed against the tiles, and he lost himself entirely in the music. That was when it happened. The door creaked. Alex froze mid-note, his eyes widening. He realized too late that something was there. His heart raced as he tried to cover himself. Leora, he stammered, flustered beyond belief. You can't. Leora stepped fully into the bathroom, her expression calm and curious. Her bioluminescent markings flickered softly, reflecting her interest. Alex, she said, tilting her head, you are engaging in your vocal exercises while immersed in water. This is unusual behavior. Alex groaned, wishing he could disappear into the floor. Unusual? Leora, this is private. She raised one delicate hand, not in anger, but in a gesture of observation. I apologize for intruding. I did not know this activity required isolation. Alex turned redder than the shower water. It's a human thing. We value privacy in these moments. Leora's eyes glimmered with what could only be described as curiosity mixed with amusement. I see, so humans experience a form of vulnerability while performing these exercises? Yes, exactly. Alex exclaimed, pacing a little. Vulnerability, privacy, respect. Leora nodded slowly. Interesting. I have observed many human activities, but this combination of sound, water, and privacy is unique. Educational, in fact. Alex buried his face in his hands. Educational, really? You're actually calling this educational? Yes, Leora said softly, her voice melodic. You must understand, Alex, that humans are remarkable. Your habits, even those that seem awkward, are all part of what makes your species adaptable and expressive. Alex peeked through his fingers. You're not upset? Upset? Leora repeated, tilting her head. Why would I be upset? This is valuable observation. Alex couldn't believe it. He expected anger, embarrassment on her part, or at least a lecture about boundaries. Instead, she seemed genuinely intrigued. Genuine observation? He muttered, still covering himself. Yes, Leora confirmed. I am learning. And your vocal patterns are amusing in a manner I find pleasurable. Alex blinked. Amusing. Pleasurable. Oh no. He could feel his face turning an even deeper shade of red. You're enjoying this? Leora nodded. In a way, yes. Your performance is expressive, and your species' attempt at privacy is fascinating. I do not mock, I appreciate, Alex groaned. I should have known better than to trust privacy around you. Leora's bioluminescent markings flickered like a soft laugh. Alex, your surprise reaction is delightful. Truly priceless. Alex buried his face again. Priceless. That's exactly what this situation isn't. She stepped closer, still calm and curious, and tilted her head. You see, humans are humorous. You blush, you panic, and yet you continue. This demonstrates resilience. I admire it. Alex peeked out again, unable to resist a small, reluctant smile. Despite the embarrassment, he had to admit she had a point. Humans did have a strange way of surviving awkward moments and sometimes laughing through them. I guess. Maybe humans are resilient, he muttered. Yes, Leora said almost kindly. And you, Alex, are a fine example of this. Your reactions provide valuable insight into human behavior. Educational, as I said. Alex groaned once more. I need a moment to recover. You may take your moment, Leora said, backing toward the door. I will. Observe from a respectful distance. Alex quickly finished his shower, careful to avoid further embarrassment. When he emerged, wrapped in a towel, he found Leora sitting on her bed, glowing faintly and smiling. You are recovered? She asked. I think so, Alex replied, still a little flustered. I guess I'm lucky you're not offended. Not offended, Leora confirmed. Curiosity and learning outweigh discomfort. I enjoy your habits. Even the private ones. They reveal much about your species. Alex shook his head in disbelief. I can't believe I'm saying this. But thanks, I think. Leora's smile widened slightly. You are welcome. Your species' reactions are always interesting. I anticipate more learning opportunities. Alex chuckled nervously. Great, just maybe warn me next time before you check on my private moments. I will attempt to do so, Leora replied. But humans are unpredictable. Your species thrives on unpredictability. This is admirable. Alex laughed despite himself. The situation was embarrassing, yes, but it was also strangely bonding. Leora's honest, literal-minded fascination made it impossible to stay angry. As the evening continued, Alex realized something important. Living with Leora would not just be about sharing space. It would be about sharing experiences, even the awkward, embarrassing ones. And maybe, just maybe, humans' humor and adaptability were exactly what made these experiences fun rather than stressful. Later that night, Alex sat on his bed, thinking about the day's events. He had been caught in the most embarrassing situation imaginable, and yet it had not ruined their relationship. Leora had reacted in the most unexpected way, curious, amused, and appreciative rather than angry. Humans really can survive anything, he thought, even an alien roommate walking in during a shower, and as he drifted off to sleep, he couldn't help but smile, knowing that life with Leora was going to be full of surprises, laughter, and priceless moments. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new discoveries, and probably more moments that tested his privacy and patience. But Alex was starting to realize that with Leora around, life was never going to be boring, and in a way, he was looking forward to it. The next morning, Alex woke with a lingering sense of embarrassment from the previous day. The incident in the bathroom replayed in his mind again and again. He had tried to forget it, but the memory of Leora's calm, curious face and her glowing, flickering lights haunted him. He tried to shake it off as he got ready for breakfast. He quietly went to the small kitchen area, hoping for a peaceful start to the day. But as usual, Leora was already there, floating slightly above the ground while preparing her own breakfast. Good morning, she said, smiling in her calm, melodic way. You seem reflective, Alex sighed. Yeah, about yesterday. Oh? Leora asked, tilting her head. I found your reactions delightful. Why do you seem distressed now? Alex groaned. Because it was embarrassing. You walked in on me while I was, I was completely unprepared. Leora's glowing eyes flickered almost like laughter, I recall. But your expression, your vocal patterns, your attempts to maintain privacy, they were priceless. Priceless, Alex repeated, incredulous. You're actually calling my most embarrassing moment priceless? Yes, Leora said simply. Humans are fascinating. Your behavior was authentic, expressive, and amusing. I could not help but find it enjoyable. Alex shook his head. Enjoyable? Seriously? Yes, she said, tilting her head. You humans have a unique way of combining emotion, vulnerability, and humor. It is remarkable. Alex couldn't help but laugh despite himself. The way Leora described it, it almost sounded like he had done something impressive instead of embarrassing. Okay, fine, he said, smiling reluctantly. I'll take it as a compliment. Good, Leora replied. Now I have a proposal. Alex raised an eyebrow. A proposal? Yes, Leora said, floating closer. We should practice your vocal exercises together. You may perform, and I shall attempt to replicate. It may improve my understanding of human expression. Alex blinked. Replicate? My singing? Exactly, she said. It will be educational and amusing. Alex groaned, but also couldn't resist the idea. If he could teach her to sing, even in her own alien way, it might help her understand human humor, emotion, and expression better. Fine, he said, but you better warn me next time before you get involved. I will attempt to, Leora said, glowing softly as she floated near him. Let us begin. Alex started singing softly, his voice echoing in the small room. At first, Leora simply listened. Her eyes focused, her glowing markings flickering in rhythm with the sound. Then she began to mimic the sounds. The result was unexpected. Her voice was melodious, but it carried a strange, otherworldly tone that made the simple song sound magical. It wasn't perfect, but the timing and tone were close enough to make Alex burst out laughing. You sound ridiculous, he exclaimed, laughing so hard he nearly fell off the bed. Ridiculous, Leora repeated, tilting her head. It's like imitating you. Days passed, and Alex slowly began to adjust to life with Leora. What had started as nervousness and embarrassment evolved into curiosity, laughter, and a surprising sense of companionship. Mornings were now full of shared breakfasts. Leora experimented with earth foods while Alex learned to prepare some of her alien meals. One morning, Alex tried her glowing breakfast gel. Okay, this actually tastes amazing, he admitted. I am pleased, Leora said, floating nearby. Your species' taste receptors are compatible with my dietary formulations. Alex laughed. You're learning fast. Humans may be messy eaters, but we know good food when we taste it. After breakfast, they began tackling chores together. Leora had learned quickly how to operate basic human appliances, though her alien methods often caused small mishaps. One day, she tried to vacuum the carpet, but her glowing device caused some papers to float midair. Alex chased them around the room, laughing as Leora tried to adjust the settings. You humans make everything so fragile, Leora said, finally turning off the device. Yet, I understand why you value it. Alex shook his head, smiling. You're lucky you're cute, or I'd be annoyed. Leora tilted her head, glowing slightly. I am learning human humor. Am I doing it correctly? You're perfect, Alex said, laughing. Just keep trying. Evenings were their favorite times. Alex would play music, and Leora would attempt to mimic it. Sometimes it sounded magical, almost like a combination of human and alien harmonies. Other times it was so strange that Alex couldn't stop laughing. Your species' vocal expressions are unpredictable, Leora said one night. Yet I find this enjoyable. And we humans like it that way, Alex replied. Unpredictable can be fun. Their friendship deepened through these small moments. Leora began asking Alex about human customs, traditions, and even jokes. Alex in turn asked about her planet, her culture, and her people. He learned that her species valued logic, observation, and learning, but they also appreciated humor and creativity, even though it was expressed differently than on Earth. One afternoon, Alex was struggling with a complicated assignment. Leora noticed his frustration and hovered over his desk. You seem stressed, she said softly. Would you like assistance? Alex sighed. I've been trying to solve this math problem for hours. I can't figure it out. Leora leaned closer, her glowing eyes scanning the paper. I see the method. You are missing a logical step. Alex looked at her in surprise. Wait, you understand this? Yes, Leora said simply. Humans have many methods, but logic applies universally. Allow me to show you. With her guidance, Alex completed the assignment quickly. He realized that Leora's alien perspective often gave him solutions he would never have thought of. Wow, he said, leaning back. You really are good at this. I am learning from you as well, Leora replied. Your species' creativity, intuition, and humor. These are valuable lessons for me. They began spending more time outside the dorm as well. Alex showed Leora his favorite spots in the city, the park, the small cafe where he liked to study, and the library. Leora observed everything, fascinated by human architecture, social interactions, and even simple things like street signs. You humans create complex structures, she said as they walked past a tall building. Yet you also design spaces for leisure and creativity. This is admirable, Alex smiled. Yeah, we like to have balance. Leora floated beside him, glowing softly. Balance, yes. Humans are adaptable even when faced with challenges. I see this clearly in you. Their bond grew even stronger through humor. One evening, Alex challenged Leora to a simple game of charades. He acted out human actions and Leora had to guess them. At first, she was awkward, interpreting actions too literally. But soon she began to exaggerate gestures in her own glowing alien way, making Alex laugh until his sides hurt. You are ridiculous, Alex exclaimed, wiping tears from his eyes. Ridiculous? Leora repeated, tilting her head. I am learning human humor. Is this correct? Yes, Alex said, still laughing. Perfectly ridiculous. Another day, Alex tried teaching Leora how to ride a bicycle. She floated beside him, observing his balance, pedaling, and coordination. Eventually, she adapted her floating ability to mimic riding, creating an unusual yet effective method. Passers-by stopped and stared, but Alex couldn't help laughing at how seriously she took the lesson. You humans move in interesting ways, Leora said. Yet I can see why you enjoy this method of transport. And I can see why aliens can make everything look magical, Alex replied. Even small misunderstandings became opportunities for laughter and bonding. Leora would sometimes take his words literally, causing hilarious confusion. For example, when Alex said he was dying for a snack, Leora searched frantically for an emergency kit, convinced he was in danger. Alex couldn't stop laughing. Not literally, Leora. Just hungry. Ah, your expressions are figurative, Leora said, glowing softly. I see. Humans exaggerate for effect. Educational and amusing. Through all these experiences, Alex realized that living with Leora taught him more than just patience. It taught him about human strengths, creativity, and resilience. He began to appreciate the humor and adaptability that allowed humans to connect with others, even beings from distant worlds. One evening, Alex and Leora sat together, looking out the window at the city lights. Leora's glow reflected softly on the walls, creating a calm, magical atmosphere. Alex, she said softly, I have learned much from you. Humans are remarkable. You laugh, you adapt, you create, and you survive. I am grateful for your companionship, Alex smiled. And I've learned from you too. Your perspective, it makes me see things differently. I guess humans really are adaptable. Yes, Leora said. And through this shared time, I understand your species better. You are resilient, creative, and humorous. These qualities are impressive, Alex chuckled. Well, I'm glad you think so. Even when I embarrass myself, you are always remarkable, Leora said, glowing brightly, even in awkward moments. Priceless, truly. Alex laughed softly. Yeah, I guess that's one word for it. As they sat together, sharing stories, laughter, and quiet moments, Alex realized that life with Leora was no longer just about surviving awkward incidents. It was about friendship, learning, and the unexpected joys of sharing life with someone, or something completely different from himself. He had once worried that an alien roommate would be strange and difficult. Now he knew that Leora's presence had made life richer, funnier, and more meaningful. Humans and aliens, Alex thought with a small smile. Maybe we really can get along after all. And as the city lights twinkled below them, Alex and Leora shared a quiet moment of understanding, laughter, and connection, proof that friendship, humor, and mutual respect could cross even the greatest of distances, including those between planets. Part 6, The Unspoken Connection. The semester was nearing its end, and Alex couldn't believe how quickly time had passed. Life with Leora had been full of surprises, laughter, and lessons, sometimes awkward, sometimes magical, but always unforgettable. One evening, Alex returned from a long day of classes feeling exhausted. His shoulders were stiff, his mind cluttered with assignments, and his patience worn thin. He slumped onto his bed, letting out a long sigh. Leora, sensing his mood, floated quietly beside him. Alex, she said softly, you appear stressed. Would you like assistance? Alex groaned. I don't think anything can help today. It's been rough. Leora's glowing eyes flickered gently. Perhaps my methods can aid you. It is worth trying. Curious despite himself, Alex nodded. All right, show me what you've got. Leora moved to the small kitchen area and began preparing a mixture of ingredients he had never seen before. Some glowed softly, others shimmered as if infused with light. She carefully combined them into a small bowl. This, she said, presenting it to him, is designed to calm the mind, relax the body, and provide energy for thought. Adapted for human biology. Alex stared. You made this for me? Yes, Leora said simply. Consider it a gesture of support. He hesitated, then took a small spoonful. The taste was unusual, yet comforting. Warmth spread through him, and he felt his tension slowly melt away. This actually works, he admitted, amazed. I observed your habits, your preferences, and your reactions, Leora explained. I adjusted this mixture to optimize your well-being. Alex smiled, feeling a wave of gratitude. You really pay attention to everything, don't you? I learn by observation, Leora said. And humans are remarkable. Observing you has taught me much about resilience, emotion, and humor. Alex leaned back, taking a deep breath. You've taught me a lot too. About patience, perspective, and how to laugh at myself. Leora's markings flickered softly. Then our exchange is mutual. We both benefit from each other's presence. Alex nodded, realizing how true that was. Over the past few months, he had learned to adapt, to see things differently, and to appreciate the quirks of both humans and aliens. Leora, in turn, had learned about human humor, unpredictability and emotion, lessons that went beyond any classroom. You know, Alex said after a pause, I never thought I'd get along with an alien roommate. I was worried, nervous, even scared at first. Leora's gaze softened. And now, Alex said, smiling, I can't imagine life without you. You've made this semester unforgettable. You have made it unforgettable for me as well, Leora replied. Your species, your humor, resilience, and